Hello all, it's all here, back with another Rune Guide video, and today we're spotlighting Perna, the Phoenix. She's a fire attacker, and before we go into her attack, this Rune Guide is going to cover what runes to equip her, what stones she has and which one's the best one, and the best way to utilise and the team ups. So let's just move on to what her attack does. Perna's attack and unique abilities. Her attack is called Eternal Flames. It attacks all the enemies and grants Eternal Flames with a fixed chance. So now Eternal Flames runs similar to continuous damage, where it receives up to 5% of max HP as damage regularly until the duration ends. This ignores defense. However, what Perna puts on with the Eternal Flames is if you die or the effect is cancelled, such as healed, it will be transferred to another target for one time only. So basically it has two cleanses, you've got to get rid of it, and it moves off onto a different character if you do cleanse it or if the character dies, which is amazing. She also has a second passive ability. So whenever Perna is in your hand, it recovers the HP of the allies in your hand by 10% and also rises from the ashes at the moment of death with 50% HP, and a cooldown does exist. So it is a passive ability, so Oblivion does affect this from working or not working, but essentially Perna has 2 lives, one with 50% less HP. And let's just want to touch on the fixed chance thing as well. Similarly to Ganymede and Zeros, like those abilities, there's a fixed chance. So I think we've spoken to this before. Fixed chance is anywhere between sort of 10, 15, 20%. The community is not overly too sure. But what that is that's an activation fixed chance. Then after that, it is whether the ability resistance check, whether your accuracy versus their resistance check happens, and then that's where the spell happens. So the fixed chance is just whether or not it's the skill activation, so don't get confused with that. So now we know all of Perna's attacks and unique abilities. Let's move on to the runes. At the beginning of the game, in the early game, I would suggest equipping Perna with the energy rune. This gives her 15% max HP, and because she is a very low base HP character, just to give her that extra bit of survivability in the early game, energy rune is the one that I would choose. Now moving into the mid game, now you'll be able to equip 2 different sets of runes. I would equip the first one as the Fatal Rune, which gives you 15% extra attack. She is essentially an attacking monster, so more attack would be better. And then because she's a 5 mana cost monster, I would have the Swift just to minus that 1 to give her a 4 cost on the first time of using her, just so you can pop her off a bit earlier. So that's the mid game runes. Moving on to the late game runes. Now my personal choice that I would have for her would be the Violent Rune. This gives you 30% chance to get the card back in your hand, so you can deal out more dots. Also, I would equip the Will Rune, as this it grants her immunity straight off the front of the battle and then refreshes every 90 seconds. Another reason why I want to go for the Violent Rune is that with her second ability, Eternity, when she's replaced back in your hand, even from the violence, she does heal that 10% to the line of the same line monsters, so that's why also to give some extra healing to your back line or front line wherever you put her. That's why Violent, I suggest, is one of the best one of the best runes to have her. So let's now move on to the different stones and what they do. We're going to start Perna's stones in rarity order. So we're going to start off with the green stone. This decreases the mana cost of Eternal Flames. So now it goes from a 5 attack monster to a 4 attack monster. Now this stone is very, very helpful. I think it's probably equally one of the best stones for her, because it does mean you can pop her off a bit earlier. Moving on to the green stone, this increases your HP by 20%. Again, this is quite useful as she is quite squishy, and in her second life she heals 50% of her HP on her second life, so the more HP the more health she has. So again, this is quite good. Between the green and the purple, it really depends on what your team strategy is. Personally, I would go for the green stone because I'd want to use her more. There's some more attack minded, but I think they're equal. I think it just depends on what team you want to run. Now her legendary stone increases the activation rate of Eternal Flames by 15%. This one's pretty good because, again, like I said, with a fixed rating, it increases it by 15%, but we're not overly too sure of what that is from an in-game perspective. We all sort of think it's 10 to 15%, possibly even 20% in the Discord community. So we mean, take it 15%, gives you an extra 15%, so it's 30% activated. So there's more chance to put more dots more of the time. So this is one of the reasons why you have Perna in team, to put the Eternal Flames on characters. So this is the best stone to have. However, out of all the legendary stones, I feel that this is probably a little bit lackluster. I mean, you should have had an extra ability in there. I just feel it's a little bit soft and probably needs a rework. But that's just my opinion. So to be fair, if you have the legendary stone, definitely have it because you get more burns. If you don't, then depending on your team, have the purple or the green stone, where my preference is the green stone because you just have less mana cost to spend on her. So teaming up with Perna then, so she has a definitely good team up with Sierra. Now with Sierra, it decreases the time of the Eternal Flames, which basically gives you instant damage because it doesn't go away, so it just instantly reduces the tick time. So make sure you do it as the damage is just ticked off the enemy. And then also this could always be paired up with Beretta and Gibraltar, as they're other dot teams or bombs, and you just activate them as well as Eternal Flame with Sierra and just do massive damage across the entire team. So that's definitely one team up. You've got also Konomiya if you're not running Violent. It's always a helpful one. It's more of a guarantee to get it back, and you get to choose when you get it back. But again, once you use Konomiya and Perna's back in your team, she heals that line that she's in as well. So this is always handy to have. And you've got Chassan and Colleen. So make sure you have Chassan in the same line as Perna. And if you have the green stone on her, then you could use Shannon, but the ultimate team up would be with Colleen, and this is just basically to get Perna on 3 attack before you use Perna, because she is a very heavy attacking monster. She's one of the highest, I'd say top 5 attacking monsters in the game, so she does hit hard. So Chassan and Colleen is the easiest way to get your attack up. And then finally you've got Reckless Devotion. The spell gives you 40% attack, so attack 3 and -2 mana, so allows you the 3 cost mana monster for a set time. However, be cautioned with this spell because you do have to use it at the right time, because once it runs out you do suffer debuffs. But this is a good spell, especially in the backline end game, where you can just rinse Perna all the time and get those damage, get those dots, and then finish them off with Sierra or just watch their team burn. Definitely a good spell to use. Now you know Perna's runes, her stones, best team ups. Now you check out this video to upgrade your Sierra, as she is a very good team up for Perna, and you definitely need to see this one. Ciao for now.